Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is Spidey Ditko64 back here once again with some Bad Batch episode reviews. So, I forgot to review episode 6 last week. However, though, I decided that rather than maybe filming the Bad Batch episode 6 review from season 2, I think it's rather appropriate that I talk about Bad Batch season 2 and just talk about these episodes, because these episodes really do reflect something that should be taken note of about this series and just how just weird it is and all that sort of stuff. So with that really being said in mind, let's get into it. So let's talk about episode 6 here real quick, which is called Tribe. So in this episode titled Tribe, the Bad Batch are off on another mission from Ced because that's what they do. That's just who they are at this point of time. And basically what happens is that they make a deal with a bunch of these droids and on a floating base outside of space. I made a rhyme there that I did not intend to do. However, though, what happens here is that Omega basically sticks her nose where it should not be, and all that sort of stuff. And she notices that the droids have a Wookiee in capture. And basically Omega, as Omega does, goes off and rescues the Wookiee. And then we find out that it is Gungi from the Clone Wars. Now, if you do not remember who Gungi is, I'm going to explain it here really briefly. So Gungi was in a season 5 episode of the Clone Wars where he and a bunch of other Jedi younglings went off to receive their lightsaber crystals, their kyber crystals. And then there was this whole mission of them going off to Hondo Ohnaka's planet, and basically they had to escape onto the Slave One. General Grievous was there and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, and basically the younglings, we have no idea what the fate are of the younglings in those episodes. And I really like it that Gungi at least survived, because honestly, he was my favorite out of all of them. Mostly because out of all of them, he's the most interesting because it's a Wookiee Jedi. We don't see those that often. And if you're wondering what I'm messing with here, just some diecast here. I don't have any new 164s. However, though, one thing is, though, I want to talk about when it comes to really with the Bad Batch, and that is we just have no idea, what happened to the rest of the younglings. We don't know if some of them died, and hell, it would have been really cool, in my opinion, and I'm just saying this right now, I really wish we could have gotten maybe an Order 66 flashback, with Gungi, maybe show how he survived Order 66. I doubt that he was in the temple around that time, because let's be honest, everyone got freaking killed in the temple. Well, except for Reva, but we're not going to talk about that. So going back to the episode in hand here, what happens, of course, here is that the Bad Batch, well, mostly Omega, basically agrees that they're going to take Gungi. I'm just trying to set the camera here. They're going to try to get Gungi back to Kashyyyk. However, though, that's going to be a little bit dangerous because the Empire are already occupying Kashyyyk. And from what it seems like, that basically, the Bad Batch, and from what it really seems like, some of the more noticeable Wookiees like Chewbacca and probably also Tarful. I don't really know what Tarful is doing around this time. And what's Chewie doing around this time, too? Is he already captured? Is he already in that bunker on Mimban on the time of Solo? I don't know. However, though, basically the Bad Batch go down to, back down to Kashyyyk, where they rescue one of the chiefs of the Wookiees, and basically they agree to help Gungi because, of course, Gungi doesn't know what tribe he belongs to because, well, he was probably taken because, of course, he was taken, he was taken as just an infant, as a baby, to the Jedi Temple. And actually, I'm actually quite interested to know as to how old Gungi is around the time of the Clone Wars, because we know the Wookiees age very differently than they do and all that sort of stuff. However, though, I really am interested to see how old he is. Is he like 50 years old and all that sort of stuff? Like in Grogu times? Did he ever meet Grogu? Who knows? Hey, who knows? But anyways, though, let's just kind of go for the episode here real quick, just because I want to mainly talk about 7 and 8. So let's just go through the episode here real quick. So basically, there are Trandoshans that are on the planet. Of course, we know Trandoshans hate the Wookiees. The Bad Batch and this Wookiee tribe along with Gungi are determined to take down the Trandoshans, and they are able to do so and all that sort of stuff. Basically, the Trandoshan leader is caught up in this big old web, and basically the Bad Batch and Gungi save the day and all that sort of stuff. And to briefly just kind of talk about my thoughts and opinions on this episode here real quick, and I'm going to save really only my thoughts on these episodes really at the end of the video. But however, though, I wanted to talk about just how I really liked this episode. And a bad thing about it is that I liked it because we saw Gungi. Gungi is a more interesting character than the Bad Batch are. Do you ever notice that? Like, you ever notice that? He's more interesting than the Bad Batch. And that's not good when it comes to your own series where there's a one-off character that's better than you are. So yeah, and all that sort of stuff. But however, though, I really like this episode, and I'm really interested to see what they do with Gungi. I really am. I don't know, could he possibly, and if maybe, could we, maybe see him, I don't know, go off to Luke's academy? I hope he survives post Return of the Jedi, just because, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if he would just, I don't know, just imagine a scenario like this. 100 years in the future, hundred thousands of years after the Rey saga and all that sort of stuff, Gungi's around as a Jedi and all that sort of stuff. And then, also Grogu is there and all that sort of stuff. Just imagine both Gungi and Grogu, both as Jedi. Well, we got a Mando Jedi, and then we got a Jedi Wookiee. Even after Yoda's time, a Yoda species still has good relationships with the Wookiees. I'd pay to see that. Come on, Disney, Dave Filoni, go off and do that. So anyways, now let's talk about the newer episodes, 7 and 8. So now we're at the midway point of the season. This is the halfway point because there are 16 episodes and we pretty much reached up to 6. So there are pretty much like 8 episodes left and all that sort of stuff. So let's just talk about these ones. Okay, so episode 8 or 7 and 8 are titled The Clone Conspiracy and also titled Truth and Consequences. So in the Clone Conspiracy, we are meeting with 2 clones. One of the name is Slip. I forget the name of the other one, but basically they're debating about the situation that had happened on Kamino and all that sort of stuff. And right now in the Empire or in the Imperial Senate, what is going on is that Vice Admiral Rampart is trying to propose the recruitment bill that would basically allow worlds to recruit the Imperial Stormtroopers. Now, we are seeing some recruits already in the ranks. However, though, from what it seems like, it's not widespread as of yet. So while we are seeing some of the TK troopers, which I'm calling the TK troopers here, or you can just basically call them the Phase 1 Stormtroopers, because that's basically what they are. Basically, what's happening here is that the clones' fates are pretty much, it's not looking good for the clones. And these 2 clones in particular were on Vice Admiral Rampart's Venator when they destroyed Kamino. Now, it's very important to mention this important piece of information. That is, the whole galaxy does not know what really happened to Kamino. Basically, the Empire gave a BS excuse that, it was destroyed during a storm, which is the same, excuse that, the Empire, might have used when Jedha was destroyed in Rogue One. Oh, it was destroyed during a mining disaster. Yeah, that's what happened. We weren't trying to test out our killer planet machine Death Star here or any of that sort of stuff. And so what basically happens here is that these two clones are going to try to see if they can expose the Empire and all that sort of stuff. However, though, there is an assassin that is after these clones with a sniper. Now, at first, I thought that this assassin was Crosshair. But however, though, from what it seems like, that is not the case. And actually, I was almost right. I was right in the sense that it was a clone, but we'll talk about that much later. However, what is going on around this time is that Vice Admiral Rampart, as I said before, is trying to get this bill passed. However, Senator Suchi, if you remember, she's the blue Pandoran chick. She was in the Clone Wars. She was with Ahsoka there was one episode. I forgot what the episode was about. Probably maybe something to do with trade negotiations. I just can't think of it at the top of my head. I know I talked about it in a previous installment. However, though, let's just talk about it here. So, Senator Suchi basically goes down to... Actually, I forgot to mention this too, but where Slip and the other clone we're talking in was actually 79, which, if you remember, is the freaking clone bar. Yeah, man, the freaking clone bar, man. Freaking clone bar. It's kind of funny. It's just kind of funny how... in a cartoon, it's really funny how Cartoon Network really let things slip. They were able to show death and all that sort of stuff, and they were able to show clones basically drinking at a bar. Just, oh my god, Disney wish they could do all this shit. I really, like, dead ass. Speaking about this, that's actually raises another question: are these episodes still rated TV PG, or are they rated TV 7Y? Shit, I don't really know. However, let's talk about here. Basically, Senator Suchi is trying to, get Slip to basically, tell her what happened to Kamino. And basically, Slip basically tells her that Kamino was destroyed by bombardment, not by a storm. And if they want to get that piece of information, if they want proof, clear evidence, they're going to have to go to Admiral Rampart's Venator into the bridge where the data logs are and all that sort of stuff. However, though, around this time, Slip's basically saying, fuck it, I want to get off the planet. And so he makes contact with a certain someone we'll get to here in a bit. However, though, Senator Suchi's trying to tell him, yo, I'm trying to help you. However, though, basically, if I was in the position Slip was, I'd do the same thing too. It's just, I want to get the hell off this goddamn planet, get as far away from the Empire as possible, and all sort of stuff. However, though, Slip is unfortunately killed by the assassin, and the assassin tries to kill Senator Suchi as well. However, though, the assassin is apprehended and basically stopped by none other than the captain of the 501st, Captain freaking Rex, and also the commander of the 332nd, but yeah, he didn't like being a commander anyway. So Captain Rex basically takes, along with Senator Suchi, to the Martez sisters' garage, which they aren't there, thankfully, and they question the assassin, which turns out to be a clone. Now, people are probably maybe wondering, wait, who's this clone? Who does he belong to? Or what's his armor type? So basically, there were certain clones that were designed, and this was also said in Legends, and maybe it's said in the new canon. But basically, there are clones that are assigned to basically go out and hunt and go after deserters. Like, heck, we know Cut LaQuain and all that sort of stuff from Season 2 of the Clone Wars, and also appeared in the Bad Batch Season 1 and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's these type of clones that basically do co-op missions and basically aren't part of the war. They're basically just assassinate all these clones. It's basically really dark. So basically, Captain Rex tries to get any information he can out of him. However, though, he won't talk and basically bites down onto his teeth and kills himself. So now basically, they're just gonna, from what it seems like, now they're gonna have to try to get those mission logs. And Rex knows the best people to get. And yeah, episode 7. Pretty good episode. Now, we're going into episode 8, Truth and Consequences. So basically, Rex calls up the Bad Batch, basically says, hey, yo, homies, I know you're off doing your own shit and all that sort of stuff. However, though, people want to see this. Come to Coruscant because we got a very important mission. And the Bad Batch are like, Yeah, but Coruscant is pretty dangerous, homie. We don't want to really be sent there. But Rex is just like, nah, homie, I got you. I got you. Just come over here. Just come over here because no one cares about your little mission with Sid and all that sort of stuff. So the Bad Batch go off to Coruscant. And also, I kind of have to ask just one question. And this may not be a complaint, but in one of the dialogues, or when the characters are talking, Omega asks, "What's Coruscant?" Like, I have to say this. I understand Omega is still new to the galaxy. However, though, that's bullshit. She should know what the capital of the Republic and what the Empire is. She should know that. Like, here's the thing. If she didn't know what Tatooine was, that's fine. That's not important. However, though, I feel like Omega should know what Coruscant is. And what's the reason why they didn't why they do this? It's just so while the Bad Batch are flying through Coruscant, she could just look out the window like, Anakin did in episode 1. No, that's stupid. In my opinion, she should already know what Coruscant is. That kind of makes her out like kind of stupid, and let's be fair, she is stupid in her own right. She is kind of stupid. Well, she is still a kid, but however, though, kids can act really freaking stupid. But that's just dumb. Dumb. She should know what Coruscant is. Heck, even if she didn't know, Boba Fett was still living on Kamino, and he had basically a whole database of library books that could probably just, he could probably just look it up to see, oh, Coruscant is the capital of the Republic? Okay. Oh, and one point of time, there was also, the freaking, there was also freaking Alderaan, too, and all that sort of stuff. And also, I can't remember the name of Han Solo's planet. Omega should know what Coruscant is, but basically, I'm getting sidetracked here. So, Rex basically says, all right, guys, we now have to go in and infiltrate Admiral Rampart's Venator, and since you guys can basically do anything, we're good to go, and all that sort of stuff. And basically, Omega stays with Senator Suchi, and all that sort of stuff. And Omega also learns a little bit how politics work. Should she kind of know a little bit about what senators do? Okay. Also, one other thing I also have to mention here just too, but shouldn't Vice Admiral Rampart know of Omega's, of her existence? Because if he doesn't, and maybe if he did not seen her, then okay, I'll give kudos to that. But it kind of feels weird how just Vice Admiral Rampart just basically Omega's walking through the Senate building and all that sort of stuff, and Vice Admiral Rampart just shows up. Like, if Omega has not met up with Vice Admiral Rampart, then kudos to continuity, but it feels weird how they don't really know each other. Or I don't know, that's just what I have to say. But basically what happens here is that throughout the episode, the Bad Batch crew are trying to, it's basically basically a mission of an I can't freaking talk. The whole episode's just them trying to get the data log, and they're able to do so. Basically, they're able to sneak in through, the vents and all that sort of stuff. They're able to get in. However, though, when they get to the bridge, they then find out that in order to get the data tapes or to get the data logs, they have to power up the whole bridge. And so they do that. They also basically power up the freaking Venator. It crashes down where it is, and basically the Bad Batch are able to get the data logs. What also happens around this time here as well is that the meeting is going on. The bill is going to be passed. The recruitment bill is about to be passed. And basically, Senator Suchi just comes in and basically just outright just calls out Rampart saying, you blew up Kamino on purpose and all that sort of stuff. And there's also this other thing about putting funds into something else, which we can probably assume was probably like the Stormtrooper project, or maybe a Purge Trooper project, or whatever Palpatine wants to do. Hell, he's probably making little Palpatines, because we got to connect that with the sequel trilogy. However, though, the important thing here is that the Bad Batch are able to get the data logs along with Rex. Omega's able to give it to Bail Organa, which he also appears in these episodes, which pretty cool to see him, you know. And basically, Senator Suchi basically exposes Rampart and all that sort of stuff. And then the man shows up. No, the Senate shows himself. Emperor freaking Palpatine in his little pod rises up and basically and uses this to his advantage. Freaking Palpatine. You want to know why Palpatine is the best villain? Arguably the best villain in cinema history? It's not because he is powerful, very freaking powerful. But it's not because, you know, he doesn't expose his plan and all that sort of stuff. No. He basically controls everything. He plays chess with himself. That's basically how he was able to destroy the Jedi and was able to basically Palpatine was playing chess with himself. The Sith had control of the Separatists and the Republic. And here now, he's using this to his advantage. Basically, what happens here is that basically, Vice Admiral Rampart is basically done. And from what it seems like, that homie is going to get freaking executed, which, yeah, rightfully deserves it, if you honestly ask me. But basically here, Palpatine just says, yeah, and I'm not going to do the voice. Well, I'm going to do the voice for this last part here. But basically, he uses this to further push the recruitment bill. Because since the clones just blindly followed orders, this needs to ensure that they need human recruits that don't blindly follow orders and all that sort of stuff. Palpatine basically says, "It is time for a new era." And yeah, Rex said himself, Palpatine won. Yeah, and that's pretty depressing, but that's just really, up until episode 6, that's not really where we see the end of Palpatine, but wow. And so to basically wrap things up, Senator Suchi basically tells the Bad Batch that she'll keep fighting for the clones' rights to see what she can do. And what also happens here is that Echo goes with Rex. He's leaving the Bad Batch, and when I saw this, I was like, 501st reunion. Fuck yeah. Screw you, Bad Batch. And Omega's basically all sad and all that sort of stuff that Echo has to go. Even though we really never see them interact all that much. Well, they have, but just not that much. Probably off screen, but who wants to show that? We need to show all these freaking weird-ass filler episodes with race pods and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, though, guys, anyways, episodes 7 and 8 were fantastic episodes. They were absolutely fantastic. Like, this is what Star Wars animation is all about. I mean, it really is frustrating, and I've seen really on social media, I've seen one post, it's from Instagram, basically just saying, I forget what the post said, but basically it's just like, it's like, what's really the point of all these filler episodes that we've seen before? And what's the point? Like, and the frustrating point is that this team of animators and writers, not the animators, the writers have shown that they can craft a good storyline, really gut-wrenching moments, great villains like Rampart. However, though we just really don't see him, and from what it looks like, Rampart basically now is out of the picture at this point. Why just continue to make all these filler episodes that just don't matter in the grand scheme of things? And really, this is another interesting part here too, but I just really have no idea how the rest of the season is going to go. Like, deadass, honestly. Like, I don't really know if I'm going to review the next episode. I will have to see for myself. what happens in the next episodes. But it's just, I mean, I'd have to be that guy that still finds some complaint in the Bad Batch series. But that's just the fact of the matter is that it's not that I hate Disney Star Wars. I'm not one of those bigots like Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Cannell, or any of those guys, whoever. I'm critical of Disney Star Wars, but it's just I want to see them improve. I want to see things be better. And this show just really it's a missed opportunity still, and we'll still see how the episodes are going to go. However, though, I enjoy these episodes 6, 7, and 8. However, that wasn't for the Bad Batch. It was really mostly for the overall Star Wars story. Gungi, the clones, not counting the Bad Batch. You know, basically the political scheme that Palpatine is playing, even after the Clone Wars. It's like the Bad Batch aren't just interesting characters. So I'll leave it at that right here. And if you're all wondering why I sound really, I guess, odd, it's because I've been really sick. So not COVID, but I just been sick. It's just this time around the year and such. However, though, guys, I hope all of you have a good weekend, good Super Bowl weekend. And yeah, of course, if all of you know NASCAR, Daytona 500 is coming up. So yeah, we'll see what goes on there. Anyways, though, guys, see you all in the next video.